In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, dear brothers and sisters, life can feel like a mountain sometimes. Its weight pressing on our shoulders, our hearts, our minds. There are bills to pay, relationships to mend, grief to process, and dreams that seem to be slipping through our fingers. You may be asking yourself, how much more can I carry? The truth is, human shoulders are never meant to bear the weight of the world alone. And that is exactly why Allah, in His infinite mercy, reminds us, and whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Quran 65:3. Think of your burdens like stones too heavy to lift. You may have tried moving them alone, exhausted, aching, frustrated, but when you surrender that load to Allah, it is as if He Himself carries it for you. Every ounce, every worry, every fear, and in His hands what was once unbearably heavy becomes light. Have you ever noticed the signs Allah sends when you feel most desperate? A friend's timely advice, a sudden opportunity, a verse in the Quran that speaks directly to your heart, or even a fleeting thought that guides you toward the right choice. These are not coincidences. Allah sends relief at the exact moment we need it, sometimes even before we realize we need it. Imagine a woman who has been struggling to find work for months. She prays, she tries, but doors keep closing. Then on a seemingly ordinary day, she receives a call from a company she didn't even think of, an opportunity that perfectly fits her skills, timing, and need. That moment is not random. It is Allah's plan unfolding, a sign that He sees her struggle and has prepared a solution far beyond what she could imagine. Brothers and sisters, this is why surrender or tawakkul is so powerful. It does not mean we stop trying. It means we give our best effort and then leave the outcome in Allah's hands. Like a bird that stretches its wings and takes flight, trusting the wind to carry it, we too must release our grip on what we cannot control and trust Allah completely. Remember, the heaviness you feel today may be a precursor to blessings tomorrow. The Prophet ﷺ said, no fatigue, no disease, no sorrow, no sadness, no hurt, no distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick he receives from a thorn, but that Allah expiates some of his sins for that. Sahih Bukhari. Every struggle, every burden you give to Allah is a step toward purification and ultimate ease. So, let us carry this mindset forward. Give it all to Allah. Your worries, your doubts, your pain, your dreams that seem distant. He can handle what's too heavy for you. And when you release your grip, you will feel a lightness that is not just physical but spiritual, a freedom only He can provide. Dear friends, life is full of trials, but Allah is full of mercy. Trust Him, surrender to Him, and watch as your path unfolds with divine precision. The storms may rage, but the one who controls the skies is with you, and in His perfect timing, blessings will arrive in forms more beautiful than you ever imagined. So today, make the decision, give it to Allah, stop carrying what you cannot bear, and trust Him with what is beyond your strength. He will handle it, and in doing so, He will lighten your heart and prepare you for a future overflowing with mercy, guidance, and infinite hope. Allah knows, Allah sees, Allah handles. Give it to Him. Life, dear brothers and sisters, can feel overwhelming at times, as if the weight of the world is pressing down on our shoulders, quietly, persistently, almost invisibly. Each of us carries a load, some visible, some invisible, that no one else can see fully, a burden that wears on our hearts, our minds, and sometimes even our bodies. It may be a responsibility that seems too heavy for your strength, a debt that never seems to diminish, a relationship that continually tests your patience, or a dream that keeps slipping through your fingers no matter how hard you try to hold on. These burdens are deeply personal, and while people may notice the surface of our struggles, they rarely see the heaviness that lies beneath, the constant tug of war in our hearts, between hope and despair. Perhaps you have woken up in the middle of the night, heart racing, mind filled with thoughts that never seem to stop, wondering how you will face another day, and you have tried to pray, to find calm, yet the weight remains, pressing down on your chest. We all know this feeling, and it is a universal part of being human. There is a reason why the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught us to turn to Allah in every circumstance, because the human heart, when left to carry its burdens alone, is vulnerable to fear, anxiety, and exhaustion. Life's responsibilities are endless. We manage jobs that demand perfection yet never seem to end, families that require love, patience, and time that we sometimes don't feel we have, and personal goals that clash with the realities of our daily struggles. Even those who appear strong, confident, and organized often carry silent battles behind their smiles and composure. Think of the parent who works tirelessly to provide, yet worries constantly whether they are giving enough, whether their children will thrive or falter. Think of the student drowning in assignments, pressure, and expectations, feeling the weight of their future pressing down on their present. Think of the person recovering from loss, navigating grief that lingers like a shadow, where even a sunny day can feel gray when the heart is burdened. Sometimes these weights are external, expectations from society, family or peers, but often the heaviest burdens are internal, born from doubt, fear, regret, or unmet desires. We question ourselves repeatedly. Am I doing enough? Am I failing somewhere? Am I weak for feeling so burdened? These questions spiral in the mind, layering our struggles with guilt and frustration, as if carrying not only the weight of reality, but also the weight of our own self-judgment. And yet, in these moments of exhaustion, of feeling stretched to our limits, we are reminded that human strength has boundaries. No matter how resilient, persistent, or determined we may be, there is a point where we simply cannot carry more. We may try to compartmentalize our struggles, to organize them in a way that makes them manageable, but life has a way of overwhelming even the best of our planning, and sometimes the mountain of responsibilities and worries grows faster than we can keep up. Perhaps you have experienced moments when everything seems to happen at once: the deadlines, the bills, the health concerns, the family obligations, and you feel like you are sinking under the sheer accumulation of it all. In those moments, it is natural to feel hopeless, exhausted, and even fearful, because the human heart was never meant to endure the weight of the universe alone. What is important, however, is to recognize that this experience is not a reflection of weakness, but a reminder of our humanity. Islam teaches us that acknowledging our limitations is not shameful, rather it is the first step toward finding the true source of strength. When the Prophet ﷺ experienced grief, stress, or concern, he turned to Allah, recognizing that some burdens are too great for the human heart to bear alone. This is a lesson for all of us, that no matter how capable we are, no matter how disciplined, the human spirit has limits, and it is natural, even necessary, to recognize when something is beyond our capacity. Sometimes the weight we carry is made heavier because we try to control what is ultimately beyond us. We obsess over outcomes, replay scenarios in our minds, and exhaust ourselves with what ifs and if onlys. This is a burden we add to our lives ourselves, and it multiplies the natural weight of our responsibilities. The heart becomes restless, the mind becomes cluttered, and even our bodies begin to show the signs of this pressure: fatigue, sleeplessness, and sometimes even illness. And yet, there is a profound beauty in acknowledging this reality, because recognition of our limits opens the door to seeking help from the one who never tires, who never fails, who sees what we cannot see, and who is never burdened by the weight of our concerns. We often try to manage our difficulties through sheer effort alone, working longer hours, worrying endlessly, seeking temporary solutions, but the truth is that some burdens are beyond the scope of human effort, and no amount of striving will truly relieve them. This is not defeat, this is reality. There is wisdom in admitting that some things are simply too heavy for us, and there is relief in realizing that there is one who can bear what we cannot. Recognizing the weight of our burdens is not only a step toward emotional but also the beginning of spiritual awakening. When we see clearly that our strength is limited, we are more likely to turn to Allah with sincerity, vulnerability, and hope. This acknowledgement is not a surrender to weakness, but a conscious decision to seek support from the one whose capacity is infinite. Life's burdens can also take the form of uncertainty and fear of the unknown. We carry concerns about health, safety, relationships, and the future. We worry about what we cannot control, and sometimes even fear what we imagine. This constant tension adds invisible weight, as the heart oscillates between hope and fear. The pressure of uncertainty is heavy, yet it is a universal experience. Every soul experiences moments when the future seems unclear, and the path forward seems difficult to navigate. Recognizing that this is part of the human condition helps us feel less isolated, and it prepares the heart to accept that relief and guidance may come from a source beyond our own efforts. Even when the burden feels unbearable, the heart has a way of speaking quietly, urging us to look beyond our own strength, reminding us that the weight is a sign to seek refuge in Allah, a gentle call to surrender what cannot be carried alone, and to acknowledge that true peace lies not in human effort alone, but in reliance upon the one whose mercy and wisdom surpass all understanding. When we acknowledge that our burdens are too heavy for us, the natural question arises: if we cannot carry them, then who can? The answer, dear brothers and sisters, is Allah. Allah's capacity is limitless, infinite, and beyond human comprehension. While our minds struggle to grasp the weight of our own responsibilities, Allah bears the entirety of the universe with ease. He does not grow weary, He does not falter, He does not stumble under pressure, and He never experiences fatigue or doubt. Every struggle you face, every worry you carry, every challenge that feels insurmountable, all of it exists within His infinite knowledge and power. Allah's capacity is not just great, it is boundless. The Quran reminds us repeatedly of this truth. Allah is the protector of those who have faith. He brings them out of darkness into light. Quran 2:257. He is capable of lifting the heaviest of loads, not only because of His power, but because of His mercy, wisdom, and intimate knowledge of our hearts. Imagine for a moment that your worries, your fears, your debts, and your grief could be gathered into one place, a weight so heavy that it crushes your spirit and clouds your mind. Now imagine placing that weight in the hands of Allah. What was once unbearable suddenly becomes light, not because the weight has disappeared, but because the one who holds it has the strength to carry it effortlessly. There is a profound relief in recognizing this truth, yet many of us forget it in moments of struggle. We rely on our own abilities, our own plans, our own resources, as if human
effort alone could withstand the storms of life.
But the reality is that human strength is limited, human patience is finite, human wisdom is imperfect, or we are fragile, easily overwhelmed, and prone to mistakes. Yet Allah is all-powerful, all-wise, and infinitely capable. Every hardship you face, whether financial, emotional, or spiritual, is well within His ability to handle. He does not need to pause, rest, or calculate. His knowledge encompasses everything, from the tiniest details to the vastness of creation. In the Quran, Allah said, "Do not grieve, indeed Allah is with us." Quran 9:40. This reassurance is not a vague promise, it is a statement of fact about His presence, His awareness, and His ability to manage everything that concerns us. When you hand your worries to Allah, you are not relinquishing control in a way that leaves you helpless. Rather, you are placing them in the hands of one whose understanding surpasses your own, whose planning is perfect, and whose mercy is limitless. Consider how a parent might handle the burdens of a small child. A toddler may struggle to carry a heavy toy, or climb a steep stair, crying and exhausted. Yet when the parent lifts the child into their arms, the weight is gone, and the child feels safe, secure, and light. This is a small reflection of the reality of Allah's capacity. Your burdens are nothing compared to His ability to bear them, and when you surrender them, He transforms them in ways you cannot yet see. Many times, we underestimate Allah's capacity because we compare it to our own. We see the heaviness, the difficulty, the pain, and we assume that no one can handle it, that no solution exists, that no relief is possible. But this is a limitation of our perspective, not of Allah's power. Allah is not bound by human limitations. He is not constrained by time, effort, or circumstance. The Quran reminds us of His absolute power in countless verses. Allah is over all things competent. Quran 2:20. Competent, capable, complete. There is no burden too heavy, no sorrow too deep, no problem too complex for Him. Allah's infinite capacity also includes His ability to provide what we do not even realize we need. He knows the hidden desires of our hearts, the quiet prayers we do not voice, the fears we dare not speak aloud. He understands the exact weight of every worry we carry, the depth of every grief, and the intensity of every longing. While we struggle to articulate our burdens, Allah already knows them, already holds them, and already has a plan to ease them in ways far beyond our imagination. Think about the person who has faced loss after loss, who has tried every possible way to improve their situation, only to find themselves exhausted, frustrated, and broken. When they turn to Allah, they are not turning to a distant passive observer, they are turning to the one who sees every tear, hears every whisper of the heart, and knows every step that led to that moment. In His hands, the heaviest burdens are carried, transformed, and sometimes even turned into blessings that we could not have foreseen. There is also something deeply comforting in realizing that Allah's capacity is not limited to the weight of problems alone. He is also capable of carrying our hopes, our dreams, our desires, and our aspirations. Often we hesitate to dream because we fear failure or disappointment. Yet Allah has the ability to nurture what seems impossible, to provide solutions where none appear to exist, and to open doors we never imagined could be opened. Our human perspective is often narrow, focused only on what we see in the present moment, but Allah's vision encompasses the past, present, and future simultaneously. Every plan He sets in motion is precise, perfect, and far beyond what we can comprehend. Consider the metaphor of a vast ocean. We may stand at the shore, struggling to lift a cup of water that spills easily in our hands, thinking that our capacity is limited, that the water is too heavy to manage. But then we realize that the ocean itself holds trillions of gallons, effortlessly, waves rolling, currents flowing, and yet the ocean is calm, powerful, and eternal. That is Allah's capacity beyond measure, unshakable, and perfectly controlled. When we hand over our burdens to Allah, we are not giving them to someone who will try and possibly fail. We are giving them to the one who is capable of managing everything with precision, wisdom, and mercy. There is a freedom in this act of surrender, a relief that human effort alone cannot provide. It is the realization that no matter how heavy the burden, it can be carried, lifted, and transformed by the one whose power is absolute, whose understanding is perfect, and whose mercy is boundless. Every difficulty, every worry, every trial is a reminder to trust in His infinite capacity, to place our hearts, our minds, and our burdens in His hand, and to rest in the knowledge that the weight we cannot bear alone is light for Him. One of the most beautiful aspects of our relationship with Allah is the way He communicates with us, not always through words but through signs, timing, and guidance that appear in ways we often do not immediately recognize. Life has a way of presenting challenges and difficulties at precisely the moments we need to learn, grow, or surrender, and Allah in His infinite wisdom places signs along our paths that point us toward relief, guidance, and blessings. Many times we find ourselves struggling under burdens that seem insurmountable, feeling lost, confused, or hopeless, and yet if we pause and reflect, we notice subtle indicators of Allah's presence. A chance encounter with someone who gives the advice we desperately needed, a verse in the Quran that seems to speak directly to the exact situation of our hearts, a sudden solution to a problem we had been wrestling with for months. These are not coincidences. These are signs, moments of divine timing, and evidence of Allah's mercy and attention to every detail of our lives. Consider the natural world around us. The sun rises and sets without fail, the rain falls in its appointed time, and the seasons change with precision. These are manifestations of Allah's perfect timing on a scale so vast that we may take them for granted, yet they are reminders that He orchestrates every moment with wisdom. If He manages the universe with such precision, is it not comforting to know that He is also perfectly aware of the timing of our personal struggles and relief? Allah's signs often arrive just when we are about to lose hope. Perhaps you have experienced this yourself, a moment when everything seemed dark, when every effort failed, when despair was pressing in, and then suddenly a solution, a word of encouragement, or a blessing arrives that shifts the entire course of your journey. That is Allah sending a sign, a signal that He has not abandoned you, that He is aware of your struggle, and that He is orchestrating a path of relief and guidance tailored specifically to you. The Quran teaches us, and it may be that you dislike a thing which is good for you and that you like a thing which is bad for you. Allah knows and you do not know. Quran 2:216. Many of the signs we receive are subtle and we may not immediately understand them. Sometimes we are given lessons disguised as difficulties, challenges disguised as trials, and opportunities disguised as obstacles. The key is to remain attentive, patient, and reflective, to recognize the ways Allah communicates through our experiences, and to trust that each moment, each encounter, each feeling of discomfort or surprise is part of a perfect divine plan. Think about someone who has been searching for a job for months, sending applications, attending interviews, and facing repeated rejections. Just when they begin to despair, a call arrives from a company they had not even considered, offering a position perfectly suited to their skills, needs, and schedule. The timing feels miraculous, yet it is precisely the orchestration of Allah, a response to the patience, effort, and reliance the individual has placed in Him. Similarly, a student struggling to understand a complex concept may suddenly come across a book, a lecture, or even a casual conversation with a friend that unlocks the clarity they have been seeking. These moments are not random, they are signs of divine timing, reminders that Allah is intimately involved in every detail of our lives, guiding us toward what is best at the moment we are most ready to receive it. Often we fail to notice the signs because we are too focused on the burdens themselves. We become consumed by the heaviness of the situation, the uncertainty of the outcome, or the frustration of delays. In doing so, we miss the subtle ways in which Allah is communicating with us. A quiet reflection, a moment of gratitude, or a pause to notice the blessings around us can reveal signs we would otherwise overlook. Perhaps a friend reaches out unexpectedly, offering support. Perhaps a stranger offers assistance at the perfect moment. Perhaps an opportunity appears that had seemed impossible only days before. These are manifestations of Allah's timing, perfectly aligned with our needs and readiness. Sometimes the signs come in the form of inner guidance, intuition, a sudden sense of clarity, or a feeling of certainty that directs us toward the right decision. These moments are deeply personal, yet they are powerful reminders that Allah's awareness of our hearts and minds surpasses anything we can imagine. When we learn to recognize these signs, our relationship with Allah deepens, our trust strengthens, and our hearts find comfort even amidst the heaviest struggles. The timing of Allah's signs is always perfect, even when it does not align with our own expectations. We often pray for relief immediately, yet Allah may delay the response not out of neglect, but because the timing is not yet right for the best outcome. This requires patience, a willingness to trust beyond our own understanding, and a faith that what is coming is far better than what we could have imagined. Consider the natural analogy of a seed. When we plant it, we may expect it to sprout overnight, yet the process of growth takes time, guided by conditions, sunlight, water, and nurturing. Similarly, Allah's signs may appear slowly, subtly, and in stages, building toward the moment of transformation when the relief, clarity, or blessing is perfectly ripe. Even in the smallest moments, Allah's signs are present. The smile of a stranger when you feel lonely, the sudden resolution of a conflict, the clarity of thought in a moment of indecision, or a verse in the Quran that resonates with your heart. These seemingly ordinary moments are extraordinary reminders of Allah's presence, His timing, and His care. Every challenge, every hardship, every delay is an opportunity to recognize the signs He has placed in our lives, to trust that the timing of relief is in His hands, and to cultivate a heart that is patient, attentive, and grateful. When we begin to see life through this lens, we realize that nothing is wasted, nothing is random, and every moment carries the potential to reveal Allah's wisdom, mercy, and guidance. Surrendering to Allah fully and sincerely is one of the most profound acts a believer can perform. It is not a sign of weakness, nor is it a passive acceptance of circumstances. It is an active, conscious decision to place our hearts, minds, and burdens in the hands of the One whose wisdom is infinite and whose mercy is boundless. In the Quran, Allah tells us, "And put your trust in Allah, and sufficient is Allah as a disposer of affairs." Quran 33:3. This verse is not just guidance, it is a roadmap for life, the recognition that while we may act, plan, and strive, the outcome rests with Allah, and He alone knows what is best for us in the long term. Tawakkul, or reliance on Allah, requires both effort and surrender. It is not about sitting idle, hoping that difficulties will magically disappear. Rather, it is about doing what is within our power with sincerity, dedication, and discipline, and then leaving the results to Allah. Imagine a farmer who tills the soil, plants the seeds, waters the fields, and cares for the crops with tireless attention. He cannot force the rain to fall or the sun to shine at a specific hour, yet he continues his work with patience, trusting that Allah, the sustainer of all things, will bring growth in its appointed time. Similarly, in our lives, we are called to exert effort in the areas where we can act, while surrendering outcomes that lie beyond our control. This surrender is deeply liberating. When we acknowledge that some burdens are too heavy for us, that certain outcomes are beyond human control, and that only Allah has the complete knowledge and power to manage everything, we begin to feel a release in our hearts. The constant anxiety, the sleepless nights, the endless overthinking, all begin to lighten as we practice sincere reliance. It is a transformation of perspective where worry is replaced with trust and fear is replaced with hope. Trust in Allah does not mean we do not plan or prepare, rather it means our plans are coupled with submission. We act with diligence, yet we recognize that our understanding is limited, and Allah's wisdom is perfect. When we internalize this balance, we develop resilience that is unshakable, a peace that is not dependent on circumstances, and a courage that is rooted in certainty rather than mere optimism. Consider a person facing financial difficulties. They work tirelessly, budget carefully, and seek every opportunity to improve their situation. Yet despite their best efforts, challenges persist. In this moment, surrender is not giving up, it is acknowledging that while they have done everything within their control, the final outcome belongs to Allah. This recognition brings a calmness, a clarity, and a renewed energy to continue striving without being consumed by despair or frustration. Surrender also requires humility, an understanding that we are limited in knowledge, strength, and perspective. Human beings are prone to impatience, misunderstanding, and error, yet Allah's plan is flawless, even when it is invisible to us. The Quran reminds us, Allah knows what is best for you while you know not. Quran 2:216. This verse is a reassurance, a comforting reminder that every hardship, every delay, every unexpected turn in life carries wisdom that we may not immediately comprehend. To surrender to Allah is to accept that we do not need to see the entire map to follow the path. It is a recognition that our part is effort, sincerity, and patience, while His part is guidance, support, and ultimate outcomes. One of the most beautiful aspects of Tawakkul is that it transforms fear into trust. When we rely on Allah completely, we no longer dread what is beyond our control because we understand that whatever He decrees is perfectly balanced, merciful, and ultimately beneficial. Even moments of difficulty become opportunities for growth, patience, and spiritual elevation. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ demonstrated this in his life countless times. He faced immense challenges, opposition, loss, and danger, yet he never wavered in his reliance on Allah. Every decision, every action, every plan was accompanied by sincere trust in Allah's wisdom and decree. His example teaches us that true surrender is not passive, it is courageous, proactive, and rooted in deep faith. Surrender also deepens our connection with Allah. When we release our burdens into His hands, we invite His presence into our lives in a tangible way. Our hearts feel lighter, our minds clearer, and our spirits more attuned to guidance. The act of handing over what we cannot bear cultivates a sense of intimacy with the Creator, a recognition that He is not distant but intimately involved in every detail of our lives. It is in these moments of surrender that we often experience profound clarity and solutions that were previously invisible to us. Another aspect of Tawakkul is patience. Surrender is not instantaneous relief, it is a journey of trust where we maintain faith even when the results are not immediate. Patience becomes an active form of worship, a demonstration of our understanding that Allah's timing is perfect and that what is destined for us will reach us at the right moment. We are reminded in the Quran, indeed Allah is with the patient. Quran 2:153. Patience and trust are inseparable. They reinforce each other, allowing the believer to navigate life's uncertainties with courage, hope, and resilience. Surrender also teaches us contentment. When we fully trust in Allah's plan, we find peace in knowing that what comes to us is precisely what we need, even if it does not align with our immediate desires or expectations. This does not mean complacency or passivity, but a deep, enduring sense of acceptance that frees the heart from the constant struggle against circumstances beyond our control. Imagine a traveler navigating a difficult, winding path in a dense forest. The traveler can see only a few steps ahead and may feel anxious about the obstacles, yet they continue moving with faith in the guide who knows the entire terrain. This guide has the knowledge, the capacity, and the plan to ensure the traveler reaches the destination safely. Surrendering to Allah is placing our trust in the ultimate guide, the one whose vision encompasses all time and space, and whose wisdom ensures that every step, obstacle, and turn serves a purpose in our growth, relief, and ultimate success. When we internalize Tawakkul, life becomes a dynamic balance of effort and faith, striving and surrender, action and patience, planning and reliance. It is a transformative mindset that replaces anxiety with calm, despair with hope, and confusion with clarity. Each moment of surrender is an act of empowerment, a declaration that while we recognize our limits, we place our trust in the one whose capacity, wisdom, and mercy are boundless. Hope is the light that guides the heart through the darkest moments, a flame that refuses to be extinguished even when circumstances feel unbearable. In Islam, hope is not a vague wish or wishful thinking, it is rooted in the certainty of Allah's mercy, His wisdom, and His perfect timing. The Quran reminds us so truly, where there is hardship, there is also ease. Quran 94:6. This verse is a promise, a divine assurance that no matter how heavy our burdens, how deep our despair, or how overwhelming our struggles, relief is coming. The act of hoping in Allah is coupled with preparation, for the believer does not passively wait for blessings but actively positions themselves to receive them. Consider the farmer who plants seeds in the soil. He cannot force them to grow instantly, yet he waters, nourishes, and protects them, knowing that growth is coming. His hope is sustained by effort, and his preparation ensures that when the moment of harvest arrives, he reaps the fruits of his labor. Similarly, in our lives, we are called to prepare spiritually, emotionally, and practically for the blessings Allah intends to bestow upon us. Hope in Allah inspires patience. It is easy to despair when the path is steep, when difficulties seem unending, or when answers seem delayed, yet hope allows the heart to endure, to trust that what is coming is far greater than what has passed. This hope is deeply connected to faith, for it is impossible to truly hope in Allah without believing in His wisdom, His timing, and His infinite capacity to handle what is beyond our strength. Consider the example of a person seeking a new chapter in life after a period of hardship. They may have faced repeated setbacks, disappointments, and even betrayals, yet they continue to pray, work, and maintain integrity, trusting that Allah sees their efforts and will respond with blessings in ways they cannot yet imagine. Hope keeps the heart alive even when the mind is weary and prepares the believer to recognize opportunities, signs, and answers when they arrive. Preparation for blessings is not merely physical or material, it is deeply spiritual. The heart, when purified through patience, prayer, and reliance on Allah, becomes a vessel ready to receive mercy, guidance, and goodness. When we nurture hope, we are more attuned to the subtle signs of Allah's presence in our lives, more capable of recognizing opportunities, and more willing to act when divine openings present themselves. Many times, blessings arrive disguised as challenges, trials, or unexpected detours. A delay in one plan may lead to a far greater opportunity, a loss may clear the way for an unimaginable gain, and a closed door may redirect us to the path we were always meant to follow. Those who hope and prepare do not despair in the face of such shifts. They trust that every twist and turn carries hidden wisdom and potential for growth. Real-life examples of this abound. Consider someone who has struggled with unemployment for months, feeling the weight of bills and responsibilities pressing down. Just as they begin to lose hope, an opportunity arises that aligns perfectly with their skills, values, and needs. The blessing may be unexpected, yet because they have maintained hope, relied on Allah, and continued their efforts, they are ready to embrace it fully. Similarly, a student who faces repeated academic challenges may eventually find themselves in a position of understanding, mentorship, or success, not by chance but through persistence, trust in Allah, and preparation of the mind and heart to receive the reward. Hope is also a shield against despair and cynicism. Life may present setbacks, injustices, or disappointments that threaten to harden the heart, yet hope reminds us that Allah's wisdom is perfect, that every difficulty carries a lesson, and that relief is coming in forms we cannot yet perceive. When we couple hope with preparation, we cultivate a proactive attitude, a heart ready to receive, and a mindset capable of turning challenges into opportunities. Preparing for blessings also involves gratitude for what we already have. When we recognize Allah's mercy in the small everyday gifts, health, relationships, food, knowledge, we attune our hearts to receive greater blessings. Gratitude enhances hope, for a heart that acknowledges past favors is more confident in anticipating future generosity. This is why the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ emphasized constant remembrance and thankfulness, as these practices align the believer's heart with Allah's ongoing mercy and provision. Hope requires vision. It is the ability to see beyond the immediate pain or difficulty and imagine the relief, growth, and joy that lies ahead. It is a perspective that refuses to be confined by temporary setbacks and focuses on the broader reality of Allah's plan. When we cultivate hope, we not only endure challenges but actively seek to position ourselves to benefit from the opportunities embedded within them. This vision often inspires action. Hope motivates us to strive, to prepare, to seek knowledge, and to develop skills that align with the blessings Allah intends to grant us. Without hope, effort may feel futile. With hope, even small steps carry significance, because we trust that Allah amplifies the sincere actions of His servants in ways beyond human comprehension. The interplay of hope and preparation also nurtures resilience. Life is unpredictable, and even with the best efforts, challenges will persist. Yet a heart that hopes in Allah, that trusts His timing, and that prepares diligently is capable of navigating setbacks without losing faith or direction. Every difficulty becomes a stepping stone, every delay a period of growth, and every trial an opportunity to refine patience and reliance on Allah. Consider the story of someone who has faced long-term illness. The daily struggles, the uncertainty, and the fatigue can feel overwhelming. Yet hope allows the individual to envision healing, comfort, and moments of strength, while preparation through medical care, lifestyle adjustments, and spiritual reliance positions them to receive relief when Allah wills. Blessings often come in ways that surpass our imagination. What we anticipate may be small compared to the largesse Allah has prepared, yet hope keeps the heart open to receiving, and preparation ensures that we can fully embrace what is given. Life's hardships then are not obstacles to blessings but pathways to them, shaping the believer to be ready, resilient, and grateful for the mercy that follows. In essence, hope in Allah is inseparable from preparation. It is the combination of vision, trust, effort, patience, and gratitude that allows the believer to recognize and receive the abundance that Allah has planned, transforming challenges into opportunities and paving the way for a future imbued with divine guidance, mercy, and rewards.